pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Welcome to the July 27th Planning Board meeting, Town of Carmel. First on the agenda for a public hearing is PGI LLC Endoscopy Center, 667 Stoneleigh Avenue. Public hearing and resolution. Mike, Pat, Rich, I don't believe any comments?
All comments have been addressed, Mr. Chairman.
Been addressed.
All comments been addressed, and you have a draft resolution before you this evening. Anyone from the public wish to be heard on this? I actually think this is an improvement to the property. I think this, we've reviewed this a few times.
Yes.
I actually think it's an improvement.
It's also an additional safety feature, which is always good.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, being there's no public comment, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can we give a motion to adopt the amended site plan resolution?
I'll make a motion to adopt the site plan resolution.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a nice night, Joel.
Good night. Very persuasive, Joel.
Nice job, seriously. I think, like Ray said, this is...
Best meeting ever, Joel.
This is a good project.
Thank you, Mr. And also, just so you know for the record, Mike had a couple of suggestions which we took to move the stairs closer so we don't have any dead space, so that's all taken care of. Thank you.
All right.
Nice job on this, thank you. Next on the agenda is New York City DEP West Branch Auxiliary Dam, 34 Drewville Road, site plan. Mike, I believe you had some comments?
I don't have comments. This is really all site work. They'll explain it to you, but there's no building. It's all site work.
Thank you. Rich?
So the applicant, which in this case is the New York City DEP, is proposing to make slope improvements to the existing West Branch Auxiliary Dam, improving stability at downstream slope, increasing downstream areas, slope stability factors, safety to meet or exceed minimum factors of New York State DEC dam regulations, and storing subsurface drainage, reconstructing US Route 6 along the crest of the dam, improving management of drainage on the water, on the roadway. The intent is to bring the project into conformance with state guidelines. The applicant has indicated the work will take place over 2 construction seasons in 2023 and 2024. Referrals are going to be required from multiple agencies, Army Corps of Engineers, New York State DEC, DOT, internally for them, DEP, Putnam County Department of Planning, Bureau of Emergency Services, Highway and Facilities, Highway Department, Town of Carmel ECB, Carmel and Mahopac Central School Districts, Mahopac and Carmel Fire Departments. And the reason for that is that they're closing one lane as part of this. So all those bureaus really need to be in the loop on this. We've met with the applicant on multiple occasions over the past couple of years, and they're aware of them, and they've addressed them pretty substantially in what they've given us as a submittal. Permits are required from the Army Corps, DEC for stormwater, protection of water and wetlands, DOT for stormwater, DEP for stormwater, ECB for wetlands. The area of disturbance is around 3.6 acres. This is over the 1 acre threshold. This is a weird project in the sense that there are 2 jurisdictions that oversee MS4 regulations in this one, Town of Carmel being one of them, the other one being New York State DOT, because they have their own MS4 when they do the work on Route 6. The applicant has noted this and will work with both agencies regarding the regulations, and approval from both agencies will be needed. Traffic control details have been provided. I mentioned that they're going to be closing a road. These should be reviewed by DOT, Putnam County Department of Highway Facilities, Bureau of Emergency Services, Town of Carmel Highway. They will be required to supply a stormwater maintenance agreement and performance bond and associated engineering fees. Outside of that, there's very minimal detailed comments, documents. There are different areas of disturbance. The EIS mentions 3.6 acres. The SWIP indicates 4.5 acres. That should be corrected internally. Notes should be added to the drawing that all plantings should be verified by the Town of Carmel Wetlands Inspector and installed per Section 142 of the Town of Carmel Town Code. All fill brought to the site must be certified per New York State DEC regulations. Manifest inserts of the fill material should be delivered and provided as part of the project. And work along existing access road must have a stabilized construction entrance. It was not shown on the drawings.
Thank you, Rich. Pat?
So, Mr. Chairman, we really have no site plan comments related to this. No one knows how to build and maintain dams better than the DEP, so we really just need to get out of their way with respect to the work they need to do. Essentially, this is an earthen dam bolstering the earthen dam. So in terms of that aspect of it, we have really no comments. The issues that we really are concerned about are construction-related comments. So Route 6 will be closed, they're going to shift Route 6, there's fill being brought into the site, there will be construction worker parking and staging, and all of those things related to how the work is done should be monitored by us. There should be a construction management plan, and we should be party to that. As Rich said, we've been meeting with them for a long time about this, so there's nothing surprising here. The closure of Route 6 is a concern, so it's DOT's road. We just need to be assured that there'll always be free passage on Route 6 during this work. So that's why it's complicated from a construction management perspective. How will they be doing that? There was one minor issue about a landscaping plan. You've indicated generalized landscaping. Eventually, we'll need to know exactly what you're doing. They're taking out about 80 trees or something like that. So there is some landscaping that will go in post-construction, but that's 2 years down the road. There's only one minor technical issue related to seeker. So typically DEP does their own seeker analyses. We haven't received documentation as to whether or not a coordinated review was done. So the question is, are we all of our agencies doing individual seeker reviews, or are you doing the coordinated review for everybody? That's really the only question we have with respect to seeker. Those are my comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Pat. I'm not sure I'm clear right now on, will you be closing Route 6 during the day at all, or just lane shifting?
So I can, just in the interest of time, if you basically flip to, there's 2 construction seasons, and I want to thanks the board for your time and all the feedback we got from Rich and
sorry,
Pat.
your name?
Oh, sorry, Paul Costa, New York City DEP, Portfolio Manager.
Thanks, Paul.
So as was mentioned, 2 construction seasons. The first construction season, which will be in 2024, that season we're expecting, will really be, all that work will be on the dam itself. It won't be on the roadway at Route 6, but there will be improvements to the entrance off of Drewville Road to the site, and there'll be lay-down area access on the other side of the
Sorry
site.
to interrupt, Paul. Did you just say that you're not going to start till 2024?
Yes, the project will start, we're looking to commence the contract next summer, 2023. The actual physical work, there'll be the tree clearing that'll happen late in the year after the bat seasons and, the windows open. That'll happen over the winter of late 2023. First construction season, full season, 24. Second construction season, 25. The first construction season is all work on the dam. No work on the work on the roadway, no closures, all on the dam. We're basically, just to give you the gist of the project and I'm very brief, there's no major dam safety issue. What we saw is, and we saw this over the years and monitored, is up at the top end of the slope, to what would that be? Kind of the, I guess the north, east side. There's erosion and it's a very steep slope. And when we say it's unstable, it's a localized, it's not a deep-seated dam safety issue. It's a localized issue, very shallow, but it doesn't have its stability. So between the runoff and the instability of that area, the only way to get it all stable is because over the years, the roadways come up a little bit, so that end part of the dam is kind of steepened up a little bit. We're gonna have to regrade the entire dam and get that whole dam basically continuously stable.
And Paul,
That's year one.
just to be clear, and just for the record, so there is no inherent public safety issue associated with the dam. I just want that in the
Correct.
record.
It's very local, and you can see if you drive the road, you'll see on that side with the pavements cracking a little bit, and so there is, potential compromise a little bit of the roadway and the drainage there. So that's existing. So once we take care of all that, and we redo the face, the road to the dam itself, the next season, we're gonna have to come in and then to connect and make the roadway, match and with the wideness of the road, plus the existing road's got some deficiencies. It's very short, small shoulder, hardly any shoulder at all. We'll be able to widen a little bit. We'll be able to, it's not fully in DOT standard, but given the space we have, and we often aren't able to do everything that DOT requires, we're gonna have now a 2.5-foot shoulder, which is an improvement. There's some shoulder, there's some improvement to safety and other things. And that second year, 2025, that's the year we'll be on the top of the road. What it'll be is, and if you might recall, we got some feedback early on, we switched gears and we said, because of the potential impacts, let's do the road work at night. So in that second construction season, we're looking at the hours from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning. They would then only close one lane of road. During the day, 2 lanes would be open. Yeah, there would be slower traffic because pavement would be being worked on. But the closures would only happen at 8 o'clock at night till 4 in the morning, 1 lane. And we'd have traffic controls on either side, and we'd be maintaining that through the night. And then we'd open the roadway at 4 a.m., and then that's how I would go.
Has the fire department reviewed this? Rich, do you know if the fire department has reviewed this yet?
I do not believe so. These were just submitted to us. Those are some of the referrals that we were talking about. Mayapack, Carmel, Putnam County Hospital, all Bureau of Emergency Services, they all need to review these. Police, yeah, I forgot to include police, sorry.
Buses.
So,
Thank you. You guys must have some questions, huh?
And if I could mention, the other traffic control, which will happen in the first season, is the access road off of Drewville and the other construction entrance. We're looking to put a temporary light there, and it'll only be activated when trucks are exiting or entering the site. There'll be somebody out there, but there'll be somebody manually putting the light into red so that the truck can move, and we'll have the warning signs. So that's the first year construction roadway traffic impact, let's say, or change. That's in the first year. The construction entrances, we're proposing to put lights there that can be manually activated in case a truck has to leave.
Where will you be staging all your, I assume there's gonna be a lot of equipment, a lot of lighting?
Yes, so to one side of the dam, there's plenty of staging areas onto, I guess that would be the north, I know the trail, it's kind of a west, but I guess it's northwest
Well, I see
side.
you have it on your, I'm just looking
Yeah,
through your
construction stage,
drawings now.
slide 9, construction staging area entrance. That down there will be area for construction
There's
staging.
enough room for you?
Yeah, there, and also along the access road, heading to the site, there's good area there, so I think the contractor's got pretty good area to work with. We're not too worried about lay down, it'll all be contained within the site.
Just, Paul, I just thought of another issue. There's a lot of fill being brought into the site. Is it being brought in as it's being deployed, or are you bringing it all there initially and then spreading it out over a long period of time?
Yeah, I would say there would be some stockpiling, there certainly will be, Eric, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I'll just say that there will be.
Yeah, you come up and I'm sorry, yeah, so they have the record, just say your name.
Eric Leclerc, I'm the engineer of record with CDM Smith. In terms of the stockpiling, we think it'll be fairly localized in short term because of the volume of fill that they're bringing in and the limited nature of the area at the base of the slope. There's not a lot of room between the dam and an adjacent wetland. So they're going to need to bring in the fill and place it almost immediately as they bring it in.
Yeah, so that's the question, Eric. So will the truck traffic be heavy and then, or more spread out over a long period?
I would anticipate it more a smooth flow of trucks throughout the duration of the construction period rather than all at once.
I believe Rich mentioned it in his memo, but you know that all the material you bring in, all the soil brings in needs to be certified clean. We've had issues with that before.
Understood, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, within the state guidelines, yeah.
Have to ask.
Yeah, we've had issues.
Yeah, we have a strong environmental health and safety section, they're making sure we do that, yeah.
One question, is there any concern about impact of the work on the spillway water downstream? And how do you deal with that?
On the spillway,
Well, there's an outlet there, right?
Oh, in terms of the outlet work, the outlet
Yeah.
at that site.
Yeah.
So we are doing a little bit of work, and there's at least maybe you want to speak to, it's side work incidental, but we're doing some other improvements besides the seepage, with the outlet, we're doing some work. I think that's what you're asking. There's an outlet at the dam, but it's, go ahead.
Sure, this is the auxiliary dam, and so there is an existing low-level outlet tunnel at the base of the dam, which allows, you see the gatehouse at the roadway level.
Right.
In the past, when it was originally designed, to allow water to go down through that gatehouse and out the lower level tunnel. That tunnel is currently blocked off. There's no water flow that can flow through that tunnel. As Paul was mentioning, part of the ancillary construction that we're doing is reestablishing access to that tunnel, because it's currently closed at both ends, so that DEP in the future, their operations folks can access that tunnel for inspection, condition inspection. But there'll be no water flow that can pass from the reservoir through that outlet and down below stream.
I know you're taking down, I'm not sure how many, but quite a few trees.
I think it's 70,
74 trees.
I think I speak,
78, about 78.
I think I speak for the board when I say, it'd be nice if the after looks nicer than the before. You're taking down a lot of trees. I think the bio-retention area plans look wonderful, but this should be, when you're all done 3 years from now, this should be nicer than what it is today.
Agreed.
I mean, we have an opportunity here. We'd be foolish not to, other than build something, that should be aesthetically more pleasing.
Yes, agreed, yes.
So Paul, do clarify, can you plant on the slope of the dam itself? Is that prohibited? What rules govern planting?
Right,
Like,
so I appreciate
You don't have
that.
to give an answer now, just by the time we.
Yeah, I
get
appreciate it.
to it.
On the dam itself, we don't want to do plantings. They can cause ruts and things like that. It would be a problem for the dam in terms of drainage. So it is, what we are doing, I'll tell you one thing, at the entrance, if you look at slide 20, the side entrance plantings, there, because we recognize we're doing some disturbance to widen, we're gonna leave the site with all new plantings. You can see it's very detailed. A lot of plantings gonna go there. So that's a site that you drive by, and instead of leaving some like empty place of gravel just laying around, we're gonna replant that whole area. So that's
19.
something along that vein of what you're saying.
You're not going to put any offices over there like you did at the other
No.
place, right?
No.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah. No new permanent structures. No, I meant afterwards. Yeah, no.
So on the slope, once your disturbance and your finished product, do you hydro seed it or something?
I don't know if it's.
The methods would be to the contractor, but essentially, like.
Please speak into the microphone, just for the people on TV, not for us.
Sure, the method will be for the contractor to decide, but most likely they would use like a hydro seed method to reestablish grass on the entire disturbed
Right,
surface of
and
the
I'm
downstream.
getting more to, yes, to have grass, but to also fight erosion.
Absolutely, yeah.
Whether
And
it's
there's a-
matted or hydro seeded.
Yep.
One other question, I think I saw there was some area that was due to be planted with what was called goose-resistant grass. Can you explain that?
I can't, myself, I don't have any experience with that. Eric, you heard about that?
So what that is, it's the seed mix that's used to establish the grass. There's specific grass species that goose are more prone to eating than others. They're not as interested in some types of grass, and so the mix that we're using doesn't contain any of those grasses that the geese are fond of. So the intent to not attract them.
No rye.
Well, as I thumbed through this, we just got this tonight, but I noticed a lot of the questions we're asking are in here, so forgive us for that, but this is an informative package here.
Paul, can you clarify the seeker aspect of this? Are we doing our own seeker review?
Yeah, so I know, our agency, DEP, and the Bureau of Engineering, Planning, and Assessment, they're definitely doing a lead agency, seeker assessment. They're actually waiting on the final permit from the state to sign off on that seeker, and that'll be sometime next month.
So Paul, I checked today, so we never got a notice of that. So if you were doing a coordinated review, we would have gotten a notice because we have an approval role in this. we didn't get a notice. So can you double check and make sure we were notified?
Will do, will do.
As DOT and everybody else needed.
Yeah, will do, will do.
So, just out of curiosity, as dam projects go, if you will, is this typical? Is this something that concerns you? Is this the,
No, I would say it's kind of unique because it's a localized stability issue at the top of the dam. It's not, again, not a dam safety issue, but, we recognize that, the continued, it's partly got to do with the fact that the drainage off of the roadway isn't controlled, and that's one of the improvements that'll happen when we rebuild the roadway. We're improving all that drainage. So that uncontrolled drainage coming over the side onto a deep slope, destabilizing that upper slope, it's kind of unique, in the sense that the situation that's there. But this is what we do. We do our inspections. We see, movement of the soil, and we do our tests. We've, already at the site, we've put instruments and gauging. We've watched it. We've seen how it's moving. We've done soil borings. We've seen the nature of the material. So we got a good understanding of where that failure is happening and how it's happening. And, this is the proposal to fix it.
When you say are you going to be putting drainage on when you rebuild the roadway, are you going to put drainage on there to divert the water away, or are you going to allow it to go over the side?
It's going to be collected, or do you want to describe it better? Yeah.
Sure. On the downstream side of the dam, we'll be putting a curb alongside the roadway with catch basins. They'll collect that drainage from the roadway and carry it to the south end near the Drewville intersection. And then it'll flow down the slope through a stabilized stone channel and into a bioretention facility that's mentioned in the slides there.
What's the size of the pipe, that drainage pipe that's under the road? Eric, do you remember?
I believe it's 15 inches now. Yep.
And it currently just washes down and erodes whatever it takes with it.
That's correct. It's just open drainage off the shoulder and onto the slope. As Paul mentioned, it's kind of over steepened at that upper 10 feet or so of the slope, and that's where the area of concern is. And that drainage washing is what we're trying to remediate, and also to, since that part's over steepened, in order to address it, you more or less have to fill all the way up the slope to get there to get it all to a similar slope.
And that's like the first 30 feet going from this direction towards Carmel. The first 30, when you come to Drewville, after that first 30 drops off.
Well, along the entire length of the crest of the dam, the first 10 feet vertically from the road level as you're going down the slope of the dam, that whole area along the whole length of the dam is a little bit over steepened. It's more pronounced at the north end, as you mentioned, closer towards Carmel.
just as a point of info also, that is one of our routes to Putnam Hospital for ambulance and, emergency vehicles. Any other questions from the board?
I have one question about the bioretention area. The access road leads to that bioretention area. Am I correct?
Yes, the site access road comes in off of Drewville Road, goes to the base of the dam, and the bioretention area is right near where the road meets the base of the dam.
Will that access road be gated, or would it be open access after you're completed with your construction?
It's currently gated. The access road is currently gated, and it will remain gated in the final condition.
Is there a restoration plan for the staging area once everything is done?
I believe it's just going to be, regraded, seeded, nothing more than that.
Okay, no, I mean, as long as it's restored to some type of,
Yeah, we'll definitely restore, yeah.
natural
With an improvement.
foliage. Yeah.
I think you can continue working with Rich and the team, and probably 3 pages or so of typewritten comments. You'll get them from Rose, if you haven't already gotten them. And then we can meet back with you when you're ready to come back. I mean, we like the project. It's a good project. It's a safety project. It's an improvement. All good things. We just need to ensure from a traffic and a project management and a landscaping plan that you.
Hospital comment, fire.
Yeah.
Right, and I think as a follow-up, our discussions are going to now get more detailed with the emergency response groups, like we mentioned
Yeah.
here. And I just want to mention that, we're not only going to get that feedback now, but, once this job starts up, before construction starts, we're going to have meetings, like stakeholder-type meetings, very important to DEP, that, especially with the different towns we work with, have kind of like stakeholder meetings, bring everybody to the table. So as much as, we'll have the, plan set before we bid it, we'll also engage very closely with everybody as we start construction, as we go through it. We'll keep a very good open communication, because we understand, the potential impacts.
I'd be
to the
happy
town.
to attend one of those stakeholder meetings just for
Yes,
informational.
that would be great. Appreciate that.
Okay, any other comments? Thank you. Thorough job, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
A lot of questions were answered, but we. And next on the agenda is Suez Water, Chateau Wells, 59 McNair Drive.
While Ramya is putting up some of the boards, again, I'm John Kirkpatrick, representing Suez Water, which, by the way, is now known as Veolia Water through a international change, but still same locally. And with me here, besides Ramya Ramanathan from Ashland, Natzer and Ziegler, whom you know, is also Maria Stepanova, an engineer with Suez Veolia. So what we would like to do tonight is just update you on our meetings with the ECB and the ZBA. They approved our requests.
Let me just ask consultants if they have any comments, and then some of your questions, your comments might answer some of theirs. Thank you. Mike, did you have any comments?
Just that the necessary variance was granted by the ZBA, and it is on the plat.
Okay, thank you. Rich?
So the applicant didn't change anything necessary for engineering, so our comments from last time, pretty much they've noted referrals, noted permits, SWIP is under review. They provided a stormwater agreement, maintenance agreement, and they need to provide a performance bonded engineering fee, otherwise all my prior comments have been addressed.
And Pat, I don't believe you have any
No,
comments.
I know it's been difficult to track the 5 different projects, and now they're making it easier for us by changing the name of the company, so, but no, they've addressed all our issues, and this is the one that's farthest along from all the
Yeah,
others. So
and the
they're-
way I remember this one is, this is the one that's in the floodplain.
That's
right?
correct.
So it's really no immediate neighbors. So, please.
Well, when we were at the ZBA, that was a public hearing, so some of the neighbors did come to the meeting. And they had concerns about the appearance of the building. So we've made some new designs, and we'd like for Ramya to take over and talk about what's been done.
Hello?
Yeah, please, yeah.
Okay. Just a correction to that. This is not the one that's in the floodplain. That's Guymer. This is Chateau, which is on McNair Drive.
McNair,
Yeah.
okay.
So I'll just turn it around if it's not visible. So like John Kirkpatrick mentioned, we had some residents come in who had some concerns regarding the visual impact, because we are right in the vicinity of a few residential homes there. And we took that into account, which is why we didn't make it to the previous meeting. We needed some more time to update the renderings. And we tried to do our best with adding some windows to the facade. Previously, it was just, I'll bring it.
Can I hold it?
So the materials are still the same. The motive is to blend it with the landscape. They're earth tone colors. The additions would be the window panels that you see there. Just to give it a little more of a residential look, similar to what people had shown us in pictures.
Are those real windows?
No, those would be aesthetic.
You might want to show that.
Sure.
He has a copy.
Okay.
Okay. And then we have, so this is from 6 to 8 feet. 6 to 8 feet and 20 feet, and we have another sample on the other side, which would also be 6 to 8 and another 20.
And that's along the driveway?
Yes.
Along the driveway?
No, this is in the compound boundary between us and the neighbor property. These two renderings, and this is from the roadway. So you should have.
But that's along your driveway?
Yes, this is
That's
on
what I meant,
McNair.
okay.
Yeah. That's from the adjacent owner's property, how that would
The
look.
windows do look better.
Yes, I But that's the only change we've done to the submission. Otherwise, everything else should be as was.
So we're hoping you'd be willing to set a public hearing date.
The size of the building again?
Oh.
The size of the building,
Give me just 1 second.
which is just.
Yeah, I'll give you the dimension, 1 second. Sorry, John. Loading.
Oh, 38 by 24?
That sounds
Rich-
about
Rich
right,
has
but
it
I'll
here.
I'll still check. Yes, 38 by 24.
And how high is it?
The building is going to be 22 feet high.
22?
Yes. Oh, sorry, 24. I looked at the wrong column. 24 feet high.
I asked the question about the 24 because at a previous hearing with a different applicant very recently, they have the same issues that you do, and they're coming in with a 17-foot high roof line?
They're installing a water treatment facility? Okay.
15-foot tanks, same thing.
All right, so it depends on the tank size that Suez needs for this property, and that's already predetermined, and then we need some more height on top of it for clearance and maintenance, which is why we came to this height. We would love to lower it if we could, but it's just technical dimensions we need to stick to.
Does the size of the filtration system correspond with the amount of residents this serves?
The size of the setup itself does vary. If you remember Mayopac, that's one of the largest facilities that we're proposing in Carmel, and that serves a lot of more residents. This site itself serves about 180 customers compared to Mayopac that served 300 customers. So,
But the size of the vessels varies with the number of customers, right?
You need to speak into the microphone and introduce yourself, I'm sorry.
Maria Stepanova, Suez Viola, and yes, the systems are sized to the current residents that the system serves. We are not increasing the volume, and just water treatment to the well.
So the more residents, the larger the filtration, the larger the building, the larger.
Correct.
I
In
believe
general.
the other applicant was like 120 units or.
But it had 15-foot tanks.
Yeah. All right.
Does the building have a gantry along the roof to maneuver heavy equipment inside the building?
We are not maneuvering equipment. There is a breakout panel. If we needed to remove, it would be through the wall, but it's blended. It's not a standout thing.
There is no overhead door, in other words.
Correct. It's the
But I know in some treatment facilities, getting the equipment in or out requires a boom above it to maneuver it, which is why the buildings are taller in some instances.
correct. Here we just needed minimal clearance to be able to reach to the top. There are some vents that need to be serviced.
Any other comments from the board? We reviewed this quite a few times. I think there's some,
I think the last minute changes, those last changes with the windows are a definite positive. I think we've got this as far as we can get it.
and you probably should consider the windows for your other applications also, I think, right?
So John, did you hear back from the neighbors once they saw this design? Were they satisfied?
they haven't yet seen the design, Pat, because after the ZBA, this is the first time
They
we're
sent it
coming
back
back with this. So I'm sure for the public hearing, they'll be here and they'll have
They'll
a
show
chance.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any way that you could lower the slab height, therefore lowering the roof height?
I'd have to defer to Suez.
New building.
The same question came up at other facilities, and here, even though we are not in floodplain, but the water table is pretty low, so it's leveled with the existing facility, and we are proposing landscape in order for us not to, go down. Plus, servicing the vessels and everything else will be more difficult if we had to bring equipment or anything else. I don't know.
Then we might need a crane.
Then might need other mechanical means to move
but-
things in and out.
When they build houses, they grade properties so that they can have a driveway at grade and a front door above. Is there any way that you could switch, do it something that you could sink it? You have that hump in front of the building where the well is, I believe, right? Isn't that the front? What's in the front of that little, oh, that's a tank. So you
Yeah,
have that.
there's an underground tank, and the building is level with the existing building. We are not
You couldn't
building
put
on
it-
top, we're not building on the bottom, it's gonna be level with the ground as much as possible.
It's just that that would give you the height, backwards. You go down, you don't have to go as high, so.
One last
I mean, I
que-
can look at the elevations versus the grade level, but it's, our design is level with the ground and then build up from there, so.
One last question. Are we squared away on the generator? I've kind of lost track between the varying.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. I'm sorry.
Are we squared away on the generator?
On the
Oh,
generator?
yes,
We
the
did-
generator, yes.
We did submit a letter to the board regarding the generator. As far as I recollect, we were required to keep the generators on-site as they were. That was,
We have to keep them on site.
Yeah.
yes. But we did agree to paint it.
Okay.
And the health department did chime in
yes,
on that.
it's a health department letter.
Right, the health department requirement that the, water facilities operate even with the power failure in the neighborhood. That's why we have portable generators on sites.
We think the neighbors like that part. They don't like the look of it, but they like having it.
And, I forget if we're proposing to paint this one, but I think this is one of the sites when we do.
Yeah.
Would the generator on this site match the building?
Right.
Okay. The green or the same color of the building?
Green of the building,
Okay.
I believe that's the generators.
Nice improvements.
Thank you.
We have a motion to schedule a public hearing.
I'll make a motion to schedule a public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Do we have a date?
Speak to Rose. She'll let you know.
Great.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job. Thanks for working with us.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Don't worry, no rush.
Have a good night. Thank you.
You know what? Other company.
Rose distributed the minutes of May 25th. Bob, did you get a chance to review the minutes of May 25th?
I did review the minutes. I sent some comments this afternoon to Rose. They were all minor in nature, so I recommend make a motion to approve the minutes as reflecting my comments.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.